Well, Nick Collier here again, and it's story time. This takes place, 7 or 8 years ago. What is that? What would that be? 2015, 2014, somewhere in that general area. It was midsummer. It was hotter than a pistol out. I could only work in the mornings because it got so hot in the afternoons. And at one point, we were up here. I think we were messing around in the garden, because of the heat. And I went up to the chicken coop to check on the chickens, probably to let them out, because we let them out from time to time, and they wander around and do their chicken thing. And I open the chicken coop, and I look over, and this skunk had stuck its head through the wire in the chicken coop. Now, my chicken coop, which is the bear-proof chicken coop, it's got not chicken wire, but it's got wire mesh that's used on stucco, which has big 1-inch holes, but it's much heavier gauge material. A bear could get through it, but most other animals, no way. This poor little skunk got his head pushed through and couldn't get back out. And it's sitting there, who knows how long it had been there. I'm guessing all afternoon, because it was completely exhausted. I mean, it was pretty much just laying on the ground, just like, ah. And I look over and it's like, oh man, what do you do? I'm not the kind of guy that would just like outright kill something like that. The poor thing was trapped. And not that at that point I appreciated skunks that much either. So, I call my wife over and we kind of work it out, so we figured out that if we got a towel or a big blanket and put it over the back of the skunk, I could come into the inside of the chicken coop and clip the one wire that's holding its head in there. And I thought, okay, we can do that. And so I built this little flag thing so I could put it over his face so it wouldn't be freaked out. And I walked over and I put it in front of its face, and I went down there and clipped several pieces of wire to kind of work my way in towards the neck, which was underneath all of its fur, and the one thing that was holding it in place. And I get about, 4 or 5 clips in, and this little guy totally freaks out, flips around and squirts me right in the face. I'm like, oh man, I'm wiped out. I'm just like, ah. Lucky it didn't get me in the eyes, but it got me right here. And and it's like, okay, it's not the poor skunk's fault. That's just doing what it does. So we reset the blanket on its butt several times, and come back around and start working our way in, trying to figure out where that wire is. I couldn't find it, and finally got it figured out, clipped the wire, and the skunk walks off. And it's like, but I'm sitting there with skunk all over me. And literally I'm riding with the smell of skunk for the next 3 weeks. And so much so that, I couldn't sleep in the same bed with my wife. I just like, I was like pushed off to the side. But what happened from that is the smell of skunk, in a sense, I kind of appreciate the smell. Whenever I'm, driving down the road and I smell skunk, I go, ooh, that's a nice smell. So, you know, this is a short little story, but if you want to see the video, because my wife videoed the whole damn thing, if you want to see the video, look down below and there's a link to the video. So this is Nick Collier checking out.